Chapter 11 I was deprived of my inheritance right just after time travel. You are listening at Audio. Chapter 1, Being deprived of inheritance right after time travel. In Wushan Ling in early August, the scorching sun was baking the earth, and it was so hot that even the air became distorted. Luo Ning, however, wore strict aristocratic clothing and walked along the smooth road paved with bluestones to the highest point of the manor, Wushan Fortress, more than 10 minutes ago. He was a game planner who was working overtime all night long to write a plan. Unexpectedly, he died unexpectedly and was reborn as a son of a noble from another world. Before he even had time to digest the memory of his predecessor, he was watched by guards and headed to Wushan Fortress to face a trial against him. Fortunately, the road was relatively long, so Luo Ning had time to digest some memories of his predecessor and figure out the current situation. It turns out that this is an extraordinary world that looks similar to the early Middle Ages on Earth, but actually contains fighting spirit and magic. The predecessor he traveled through was named Luo Ning Wushan. He was the eldest grandson of the Wushan Marquis family and had the right to inherit the position of Marquis, but this is a person who grew up in a top aristocratic family. Not only did he not master any extraordinary power, he also indulged in banquets and dances, indulged in fine wine and women, and achieved nothing. At the banquet the day before yesterday, my predecessor got extremely drunk and slept with a woman. No one expected that the woman committed suicide the next day and wrote a suicide note accusing her predecessor, which became public knowledge for a while. It stands to reason that the private lives of many nobles are very messy, and having sex with a woman at a banquet is not a big deal. Even if an ordinary woman commits suicide, it is just suicide, and it is not a big deal, but the bad thing is that this woman's identity is very unusual. She is the border Earl of Wushan Ridge and the youngest granddaughter of Earl Orson Hyde. Today's Wushan territory is very unstable due to internal and external troubles, and this border count not only has a prosperous family, but also assumes the important task of maintaining border security. This led to the fact that although the border count was a vassal of the Marquis, once the relationship became tense, he would contribute little or even no effort in certain major matters, which would cause immeasurable harm to the Wushan territory. For this reason, the predecessor's father, who had just returned from a war, punched his predecessor when he heard about it. He wanted to teach him a lesson, but he didn't expect to send him to heaven directly. Recalling this, Luo Ning's heart became more and more sad and uneasy. Will the Wushan Marquis mansion sacrifice him for the sake of the stability of the territory and family? Come to think of it, it's very possible. After all, his mother died young, his father did not care for him, his grandfather did not love him, and there was no power behind him to support him. Although his political status was high, his situation was very embarrassing. Why did we encounter such a difficult thing as soon as we traveled through time? Luo Ning felt helpless. He turned his head and looked around. The group of guards following him completely gave up the idea of could he escape. Well, the Marquis mansion is very large, with countless rockeries, fountains, flowers and other landscapes, all of which demonstrate the splendor and heritage of the Wushan family. Going up the wide stairs, a huge military fortress built entirely of white jade stands on the top of the hill, majestic yet heavy. This is Wushan Fortress. Luo Ning's heart was only shocked by this scene for a second or two, and then was replaced by anxiety. What he is about to face is not only his father, Earl Wiggins, who sent his predecessor to the west with a punch, but also an angry representative of the Hyde family who came to ask for an explanation. Both groups wanted to vent their anger on him. How could he, a newbie who had just traveled through time, bear such great anger? Heaven Lingling, Earth Lingling, the legendary golden finger appears quickly. Rescue your master. As a lover of games and novels, he knows that every time traveler has a golden finger. In a desperate situation, he could only pray this. Perhaps in response to his call, a line of words flickered in his sight. Activate. After obtaining the title, Luo Ning was extremely happy when he saw this line of writing. He indeed had a golden finger, but after seeing the content of this line clearly, the smile on his face froze, and the golden finger was still activated. How can a title be so easy to obtain? Although his predecessor had the right to inherit, if he wanted to become the Marquis of Wushan territory, he would first have to wait for his grandfather to die, and then wait for his father to pass away, and then it would be his turn to inherit. To take a step back, after he graduates from the extraordinary academy, his father may make him a viscount or baron. But that will be next year, and there is still 1 year left. Moreover, now Luo Ning not only has to face the wrath of Wiggins, but also faces the risk of being sacrificially sacrificed. Where can he get a knighthood? I have a golden finger but can't activate it. It's really unlucky that my mother opened the door for me. I'm so unlucky, that he is really suffering that he cannot express. Master Luo Ning, the adults are waiting for you inside. After the guard sent Luo Ning to the entrance of the fortress, they stood on both sides. The captain made an invitation gesture, indicating that Luo Ning should go in alone. Standing under the 5-meter-high gate of the fortress, Luo Ning felt deeply how insignificant he was. He raised his eyes and looked inside. At the end, dozens of meters away, several figures could be vaguely seen, heavy and depressing. What's coming is coming, you can't avoid it. That he took a deep breath and then stepped inside. There were no guards standing guard on both sides of the castle hall corridor. It seemed that they did not want the quarrel inside to be spread. Maybe things are not as bad as you think. Luo Ning comforted himself, and soon came to the end, and he could clearly see the 5 people here. Directly in front of him, sitting on a high jade seat, was an old man with gray hair and wrinkles on his face. Seeing him, Luo Ning's heartbeat couldn't help but beat 2 points faster. This old man is the founder of this castle, the master of Wushan territory, the powerful meteor star knight, and the Marquis of Aljuan Kingdom, Roland's Wushan. Luo Ning did not expect that this incident would alarm even the old Marquis, who had not been involved in political affairs for more than 10 years. It seemed that even the Marquis had to pay attention to his relationship with the Hyde family. On the right-hand side of the old Marquis stood a burly, rugged middle-aged man with a beard. He is the second son of Marquis Rolands, the Earl of Wushan City, the future heir of Wushan territory, and the father of Luo Ning, Wiggins Wushan. As the second son of the old Marquis, Wiggins should not have the right to inherit the title. It was his turn because his eldest brother Grimes died in battle 30 years ago, but he was obviously not ready. The 52-year-old Wiggins is still just a senior knight, with little strength and unclear mind. In this chaotic era, he cannot suppress the vassals who are ready to move. As the eldest son of Wiggins and the future second heir of Wushan territory, he was an ordinary person who didn't even have extraordinary power. Both heirs have this kind of virtue. The outside world will naturally feel that after the old Marquis died of illness, the understanding of Marquis Wushan gradually fell apart. This is the source of the instability of Wushan color. Luo Ning quietly glanced at the 3 people on the other side. They were all wearing armor and carrying swords. They exuded a powerful aura, especially the golden-haired man in the middle, which made Luo Ning very uneasy. If he admits correctly, this man is the knight who follows the Earl of the Border, Negan Golden Lion, a gold-level peak knight who is only 1 step away from rivaling the old Marquis in terms of combat power. Seeing Luo Ning coming, the 5 people in the hall had different expressions. The old Marquis on the high seat was calm and expressionless, showing no anger or sadness. The 3 representatives of the knight snorted coldly, glared with hatred, and their eyes were cannibalistic. Only Wiggins roared angrily, "Damn you, why don't you kneel down?" Luo Ning was startled by the sudden roar. Are senior knights from other worlds so loud? Considering the opponent's punch that killed his predecessor, he could only surrender and kneel in the middle of the hall. Haha. At this moment, a sneer came from above, and the representative of the Hyde family, the gold-level knight Negan Golden Lion, glanced at Wiggins disdainfully. The real master has arrived, and the Earl of Wushan City does not need to act in front of us. Miss Selena died because of Luo Ning, and the Wushan family must give us a satisfactory explanation for this matter. The Hyde family. Right, the knight next to him echoed, and this siege against the Black and Gold Brotherhood was due to your wrong command that led to the death of Baron Slant. You must pay the price for your mistake. The eldest grandson and youngest granddaughter of the Hyde family both died because of your Wushan family. If this matter is not handled properly, it will only damage the friendship between our 2 families. In line with the principle of my vassal's vassal is not my vassal, the 3 knights represented by Knight Negan were led by Earl Hyde. They did not give Wiggins any face at all, and directly started to spray, which was very embarrassing. A posture of fighting if the price is not paid. Normally in this case, Wiggins would spray back even louder, but at this moment, he couldn't refute, because he did make a mistake in his command during the battle to encircle and suppress the bandits. His face turned red with anger and he had nowhere to vent his anger. He could only roar at Luo Ning again, damn it. Luo Ning's heart sank to the bottom. He did not expect that 2 of the Hyde family's grandchildren would die in one go, not to mention 1 granddaughter. Even the eldest grandson with the right to inherit would unexpectedly die in battle, and it was still the fault of my predecessor's father. You won't bring this blame on me, right? Luo Ning felt more and more uneasy. He was also the eldest grandson. Wouldn't he use his life to pay for that slant's life? The silence, depression, and suffocating atmosphere made Luo Ning breathless. He was just a newcomer to society who had just left school. How had he ever experienced such a battle? But he knew that the person who decided whether he was safe or not was not his father, nor the 3 representatives of the Hyde family, but Marquis Wushan, who sat on the high seat and remained silent. The old Marquis once trained his predecessor as his successor. After all, his son was dead, so he could only place his hopes of revitalizing the family on his eldest grandson. But the performance of his predecessor disappointed him, especially after he still failed to master extraordinary power. In the past 2 years. Although death is inevitable in war, I am very sad about the death of Baron Slant. He was a brave boy. On the high seat, the old Marquis slowly opened his eyes and finally spoke. Please also ask Sir Negan to convey my sorrow and apology to Orson and Barrington. After hearing this, Negan stood up and performed the knightly salute with one hand on his chest. It was obvious that his attitude towards Wiggins was completely different from that towards Marquis Rowlands. Negan will definitely convey it, but... The old Marquis raised his hand, sighed heavily, and interrupted the other party's words. Speaking of which, Wushan and Hyde are still related by marriage, but we didn't expect such 2 unfortunate things to happen. Wiggins's fault is Slant's death in the battle, and we should compensate for it, but Selina. Having said this, he glanced at his grandson kneeling on the ground, and Luo Ning's heart rose to his throat at this moment. Whether you can survive or not depends on the next sentence. The child Selina committed suicide, not directly at the hands of Ronin. After hearing this, Luo Ning finally felt relieved. With the words of the old Marquis, he knew that his life was finally saved. As long as you can survive, that's okay. But on the other side, Negan and the other 3 were anxious. Sir, although Miss Selina did not die directly in the hands of Luo Ning, she was insulted by him and died. You can't just say this. As he spoke, he took out a piece of parchment from his pocket and said with tears, this parchment was written by Miss Selina herself. It records everything that happened after she was forcibly pulled into the room by Luo Ning. If there is no punishment, then we... Don't worry. Marquis Rowlands interrupted Negan again. I just said that Selina did not die directly at the hands of Ronin, so I will not agree to your request for Ronin to pay for her life. But I did not say that I will not give an explanation to the Hyde family. After hearing this, Negan, who was about to argue, stopped talking. In fact, he also knew that it was impossible to directly ask the eldest grandson of the Marquis mansion to pay for his life, but only in this way could they get what they wanted. After being silent for a long time, Lu Lancy slowly spoke. Slant's death in battle caused the Hyde family to lose an outstanding eldest grandson. And his death and Selina's death can all be attributed to my Wushan family, so I will make a promise here. Luo Ning held his breath and listened carefully to the next words. His fate depended on the arrangement of the old man sitting on the seat. I can commit. Marquis of Rowlands said solemnly, in the future, in the 3rd generation, my youngest grandson, Brayton Aushin, the son of Wiggins and Diane, will inherit the position of Marquis of Aushin territory. As for Luo Ning, he paused and glanced at Luo Ning, who had his head lowered, deprive Luo Ning Wushan of his inheritance rights. Although there is an inheritance system such as the eldest son and the eldest grandson, it can be abolished as long as they make a fatal mistake. Luo Ning made a fatal mistake now, or he fell into a whirlpool of fatal mistakes. As for depriving Luo Ning of his inheritance rights, can the relationship be improved? Even if an explanation is given? That's for sure, because the mother of Brayton, who succeeded Ronin, had a surname of Hyde, and she was the daughter of Orson Hyde. in other words, Breton is the grandson of the border earl. Luo Ning's heartbeat accelerated suddenly, and he seemed to understand something at this moment. Could Selina's suicide be to deprive him of his inheritance and pass it on to his half-brother Breton? The calculation behind this is really insidious. No, I have to find a way to leave the center of this vortex. Sign a contract tomorrow, available for investment, new. Chapter 22 Finding a Way Out. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 2 Looking for a Way Out. After Lulans made his promise, a new round of debate began in the hall of Wushan Fortress. It is mainly up to Wiggins and the three knights of Negan to finalize the compensation plan, and bargaining is naturally inevitable in the process. From this moment on, no one wasted any time talking about Luo Ning, as if he had nothing to do with this matter. He is really a tool man. Luo Ning muttered in a low voice. He listened to a few words of the argument in the hall at first, but then the soreness in his legs took away his attention. The predecessor was surrounded by wine and sex every day, and his physical fitness was too poor and weak. If possible, he really wanted to stand up and leave this hall, but now is not the time. Although he survived the crisis safely, he didn't know what kind of fate he would have later. Generally speaking, nobles who have been deprived of their inheritance rights are either sent to other small cities to manage the family's property, or they are kept as pets in the castle. Of course, there are also more miserable cases where the nobles are deprived of their surnames and expelled from the family, or even die violently. What fate awaits him? As long as it's not going to jail or being imprisoned, that's fine. The argument lasted for more than an hour before Negan and the three knights left the fortress satisfied with the result. If nothing else happens, officials from both parties will supplement the subsequent details and draw up a contract. At this time, Luo Ning, who was kneeling on the ground with numb legs, cheered up. After all the outsiders left, it was his turn next. Wushan Fortress was quiet for a long time, and then Wiggins angrily grabbed the crystal cup at hand and threw it in front of Luo Ning, smashing it into pieces with a bang. It's because of you that the family paid such a heavy price. Luo Ning wanted to say that your son had already paid the price with his life, but he did not dare to say this. The old Marquis on the high seat glanced at the son he couldn't stand, and asked coldly, "How can you be better than Luo Ning?" Ahem. The battlefield commander dared to disperse the attack without even knowing the enemy's strength. He also agreed to the request of Slant, who was in charge of logistics, to lead the charge. Is your mind full of horse manure? Cough, cough, cough. The more he talked, the more angry he became, and the old Marquis coughed violently. Wiggins' temper was a little grumpy, but when faced with his father's criticism, he could only shrink his head in frustration, sit on the chair and remain silent. Well, Roland sighed heavily after he calmed down. His ineffective son seemed to have not discovered the deeper meaning of Selina's suicide until now. His political sense was too dull. If his eldest son Grimes was here, he wouldn't have these worries. Lolans turned his gaze to Luo Ning, who was still kneeling. Perhaps out of boredom, he asked casually, "Luo Ning, my grandson, what do you think of this matter?" That he sighed again in his heart. The character of his eldest grandson was exactly the same as that of Wiggins when he was young. No, it might as well be. At least Wiggins has mastered fighting spirit, and Luo Ning is just a mortal. Hearing the Marquis asking him, Luo Ning raised his head. Although he couldn't figure out why Lolans asked him such a question, he knew that the quality of the answer might affect his subsequent treatment. Conspiracy, this is a conspiracy. That the predecessor's mind was not very bright, so he tried to be as unclear as possible. Although I can't remember what happened that night, Selina and I have always liked each other. If anything really happened, she wouldn't commit suicide. There is definitely a conspiracy behind this incident. Surprise flashed in Lu Lancy's eyes. Can his grandson still have such knowledge? And at this time, shouldn't he, who had lost his inheritance rights, kneel down and cry bitterly, falling into endless regret and sorrow? Get up, my grandson, and tell me, what kind of conspiracy will it be? Luo Ning breathed a sigh of relief and stood up slowly, grinning in pain. The corporal punishment time was finally over. He thought for a while and organized his words. Grandpa, I think someone should have assassinated Selina and then framed the blame on me, thus instigating the relationship between us and the Hyde family, making the Ashan territory more uneasy and unstable. and ultimately achieving the purpose of splitting the Ashan territory. In fact, he was more willing to say that this was a conspiracy of the Hyde family. But this level of understanding was relatively deep and not something that his predecessor could come up with, so he explained it in a shallower way, but it was this shallow guess that made Luolan's nod. Having such a level of understanding shows that your mind is smarter than your father Wiggins. Wiggins hesitated to speak. Is the old man confused? Is this stupid son smarter than him? He also tried to drive a wedge between Hyde and Wushan. In his opinion, this was clearly Luo Ning's nonsense. What you say makes sense. Luolan smiled and motioned for Luo Ning to sit aside. In fact, in his heart, he has begun to doubt whether Selena is a bloodline of the Hyde family. However, there was no need for him to reveal his guess. It doesn't matter if you let Brayton inherit it. This little guy has given birth to the seeds of fighting spirit at the age of 13, and his future achievements will definitely be higher than yours. Coupled with the support of the Hyde family, our family can still sit firmly in the Wushan leader. Luo Ning's expression changed, and he probably understood. Perhaps from the beginning, the old Marquis knew what the Hyde family wanted. The old Marquis didn't like Wiggins nor his predecessor, so after understanding the Hyde family's intentions, he followed the trend and abolished Luo Ning's inheritance rights. Instead of waiting for the Wushan territory to fall apart after his death, it would be better for the Hyde family to support it wholeheartedly. At least the owner of the Wushan territory would still have the surname Wushan, so from beginning to end, Luolan's didn't show any anger towards Luo Ning, and he didn't even mean to blame him at all. This made Luo Ning feel relieved. Maybe he could get some benefits by being deprived of his inheritance rights. Losing your inheritance might be a good thing for you. Luolan's continued, although you have no inheritance rights, you are still a child of my Wushan family. There is no problem in taking care of yourself in this castle. Retirement care. Luo Ning was still young and had finally traveled through time. He didn't want to live in this castle where he could see his head at a glance, and being in the center of this whirlpool, his life might be lost, so it would be better for him to leave as soon as possible. Grandpa, I don't want to live in a castle. As soon as Luo Ning said this, Wiggins scolded him angrily. Why, the family doesn't support you enough? Believe it or not, I will kick you out of the family, Luolansi asked with a smile. Oh. Then what do you want to do? This sentence directly made Wiggins hold back the anger he was about to vent, making him feel very uncomfortable, but it was the old man who didn't show any anger or blame from the beginning to the end that made Luo Ning feel like he had a chance to get some benefits. Of course, it's not very good to ask for it straight away, he needs to put on a show with his words. Luo Ning looked lonely, looking sad and regretful. Grandpa, and my father, because of my stupid mistakes that cost the family such a big price, I feel very guilty and remorseful from yesterday to now. As he spoke, Luo Ning wiped his eyes vigorously, and the discomfort caused 2 tears to ooze from the corners of his eyes. I don't want to be a waste who can only feed and drink the family. I want to make up for my mistakes. I want to take care of the family's industry. Even if I am a baron in a small town in a remote area, I am willing to go and make profits for the family. Without a title, Luo Ning is still a noble, but with the title, he can activate the golden finger. This is his real appeal. You actually want me to make you a baron? Wiggins was so angry that his beard almost exploded. I asked you to manage the town. Do you have the ability? Ha ha ha, cough cough cough. Luolan smiled and then started coughing. He was too tired today and his old illness made him very tired. It's rare that you have such thoughts, and your idea is not bad. Moreover, the fact that you can detect the conspiracy of Selena's death shows that your mind is not as stupid as I thought. At this point, the old Marquis paused and said, I can give you a chance. He looked at his son and said, Wiggins, just choose a small town in a remote area for Luo Ning and let him try his hand. Even if the management is poor, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that this can keep Luo Ning away from Wushan City, which is good for everyone. Luo Ning laughed, and he was very happy to stay away from the center of the vortex. Thank you, Grandpa. I will manage it well and live up to the family's gift. Wiggins' expression was not very good. Father, you dote on him too much. This guy is just greedy for pleasure. After this war, those who have made meritorious services have not yet received rewards, but they have given land to Luo Ning first. This is inappropriate. Rollans did not continue to say anything more on this topic, but stood up slowly on crutches and prepared to leave. My health is getting worse and worse. It is estimated that I will only be 2 or 3 years away from death. As the Earl of Wushan City and the future successor of Wushan Territory, can you think more objectively about one thing? Wiggins shut his mouth. He didn't know why his father suddenly lost his temper with him, but looking at his father who was getting thinner and thinner, he felt bitter in his heart. A knight at the peak of the meteor star can live to be at least 110 years old, but Rollans is in extremely poor physical condition due to a serious injury 30 years ago, and is now approaching his limit at the age of 75. Okay father, Wiggins sighed, thought for a while, and said, then let Luo Ning be the Baron of Hillwood Town and take care of Hillwood Town for us, so that those who have made meritorious services will not have too many objections. Hillwood Town. Luo Ning's ears perked up. He didn't have any information about Shanlin Town in his mind. He thought it was a remote place, but what does Wiggins mean by this last sentence? Why don't those who have made meritorious contributions have much opinion? Lullans paused for a moment, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end he didn't. As you wish. The old Marquis said and continued to leave the hall. At this moment, Luo Ning laughed, because in his sight, the line of text changed. Acquired a title, the system is being activated. Grandpa, let me help you. Luo Ning smiled and ran up. He was very grateful to this old man. You are a little more considerate than before. At the same time, Roland sighed in his heart, if you had changed earlier, maybe I wouldn't have deprived you of your inheritance rights. But it was too late. New. Chapter 3:3 A system designed by myself. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 A system designed by myself. What happens in the Wushan fortress is bound to blow through the entire Wushan territory like a storm in the next few days. While people either ridiculed or lamented that Luo Ning had lost his inheritance rights, they would also adjust their attitude towards the Hyde family, the identity of the border earl and the grandfather, the heir to the Wushan territory, brought the already prestigious Hyde family to a higher level. Luo Ning didn't care about the outside discussions and the criticism of him. After sending Lullans out of Wushan fortress, he returned to his small building without stopping, and first got familiar with the activated golden finger. Following his call, 5 interfaces appeared in his field of vision, looking at the monthly sign-in, 7-day login, first deposit bonus, achievement tasks and attribute panel in front of him. Luo Ning fell into deep astonishment. Damn it, isn't this the system I designed? On Earth, he is a game planner, involved in the development and production of a card game. His main task is to design some systems in the game. Luo Ning didn't expect that these things he worked overtime to make would actually travel with him and become his golden fingers. He began to browse these interfaces one by one, starting with the monthly sign-in. This interface is divided into 4 rows and 7 columns, with a total of 28 small grids, which corresponds to the rules of this world of 28 days per month and 7 days per week. Luo Ning took a look. The rewards in the monthly sign-in cycle every 7 days. The rewards for the first 6 days of the 7 days are attribute points +1, and the 7th day is a heartwarming gift box. In addition, there is a reminder at the bottom of the interface. Upgrading the title can increase the multiplier of the sign-in reward. Currently there is no additional bonus. Looking at this interface, Luo Ning felt helpless. When he designed the check-in system, he designed it like this. He wanted to give players a little sweetness without giving too many resources, so he gave some gold coins on the first 6 days, and on the 7th day, he gave some gold coins plus some jade and packaged it into a gift bag. Thinking about it, this heartwarming gift box is probably something similar. As for the subsequent increase, it was designed to be linked to VIP. For example, when you upgrade to VIP 2, the sign-in reward is twice that of VIP 1. If I had known when designing the sign-in system, I would have made the rewards richer, instead of being so fussy like now. With a little regret, Luo Ning looked at the second 7-day login interface. This reward was more generous than signing in. Day 1, reward a knight with gold qualification. Day 2, reward a classic gift pack. Day 3, reward a space ring with 10 cubic meters of storage space. Day 4, reward a premium gift package. Day 5, reward a high-quality weapon, the Flowing Flame Sword, the precious magic scroll in which the monster signed a master-servant contract. Day 7, reward a light magician with the qualification of a great magician. From a card game perspective, this 7-day login reward comes with 2 character cards and some development materials, which can help novices get through the early stages of the game. From Luo Ning's perspective now, it just solves the problem of having no one under his command. When he arrived in his own territory, he had to have some confidence, and the 7-day login gave him a solution, but Luo Ning still felt unhappy. If I had known I should have put some of the cards with the strongest qualifications in, that the levels of knights and magicians in this world are, 0.9 knight levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, bronze, silver, gold, shooting star, silver moon, and scorching sun. 9 levels of magician, junior, intermediate, advanced, great magician, chief magician, magician, great magician, magician, great magician. The best characters given in these 7 days of login are only characters with level 7 Grand Mage qualifications. Although the Great Mage was already considered a powerful person in this world, Luo Ning still regretted not putting in a better one. If the 2 systems of monthly sign-in and 7-day login made Luo Ning regretful, then this generous first deposit gift made him very sad. A fire attribute knight with recharged Yang qualifications and a luxurious gift package, Jiaoyang, that is the absolute top existence. At least when I was this big before, I had never seen any Jiaoyang level transcendent with my own eyes. Such a reward is absolutely luxurious, but the price to get it is not low. Magic crystal is a precious magic material in this world. A magic crystal is worth about 100 gold coins. If Luo Ning wants to get this sun-qualified subordinate, he needs to spend that. It's a small amount. Luo Ning rummaged through his drawers and found that his pocket money only amounted to 23 gold coins. If I had known better, I should have lowered the conditions for the first deposit reward and just recharged it to 1 yuan. In this way, he only needs to consume 1 magic crystal to obtain this grand gift. Alas, I regret it. Damn game planner. Luo Ning didn't know who he was scolding. He turned his attention to the achievement task interface. In the game, the main purpose of monthly sign-in and 7-day login is to attract retention. The first deposit bonus is to increase the payment rate of new areas, and the achievement mission system is to give players a goal to strive for. At this time, the achievement tasks interface clearly displays 5 achievements, famous all over the world. The title is not only a symbol of status, but also a manifestation of strength. Please work hard to become a Viscount. Rewards, attribute points plus 200, energy essence plus 400. King of Killing, kill any unit alone. Reward, attribute points plus 10, energy essence plus 20. Prosperous population, the registered population of the territory reaches 3,000. Rewards, attribute points plus 30, energy essence plus 60. Siege city, own 1 city. Reward, attribute points plus 200, energy essence plus 400. Prosperous wealth, get 500 gold coins at one time. Reward, attribute points plus 20, energy essence plus 40. By completing tasks, Luo Ning basically determined his future development direction, which was to improve his strength, manage his territory, earn wealth, and then conquer cities and territories. He moved his eyes to the last interface, which was the attribute panel of the game character. At this moment, his attributes were recorded. Name, Luo Ning Wushan, title, Baron, physique, demon fighting dual cultivation. Your 2 professional levels must be broken through at the same time. Affinity, wind, fire, super. Level, mortal, 0 out of 10, plus. Attribute points, 1, energy essence, 0. After seeing the content on this interface clearly, especially after seeing the plus sign after the level, Luo Ning instantly became more energetic. In this extraordinary world with fighting spirit and magic, Luo Ning naturally refuses to be ordinary. This attribute panel brought him a way to get rid of the ordinary and enter the extraordinary, adding points. This is what attribute points do. After looking at it, Luo Ning felt better. Now he just needs to find a place to develop stably and rely on the monthly sign-in system to become stronger. By the way, Shanlin Town. Luo Ning's eyes lit up. He remembered that Wiggins said when he was at Wushan Fortress that he would become the Baron of Shanlin Town. I wonder where Shanlin town is. Luo Ning hurriedly rummaged through the drawer and took out a rough map of Wushan territory from the bottom. As the map was spread out, a faint fishy smell hit my nostrils. This was the unique smell of parchment, and it was not pleasant at all. Luo Ning searched for the location of Shanlin town. Remote areas. Based on this clue, Luo Ning accurately found Shanlin town in the northern part of the map. This location looks pretty good. Shanlin town is the northernmost town in Wushan territory. Further north, there are no other cities except mountains. Then the whole north belongs to me, right? Luo Ning thought happily. Boom, boom, boom. There was a knock on the door. Luo Ning looked away from the map and cleared his throat. Please come in. The door was pushed open, and a middle-aged man wearing a butler's dress walked in and bowed politely to Luo Ning. Hallwater has met the young master. Although Luo Ning was deprived of his inheritance rights, he was still a bloodline of the Wushan family and was still a noble. Hallwater is the steward of the Marquis mansion. Although he has a certain status, he is still a domestic servant and is still respectful to his master without fault. What's the matter, Mr. Hallward? The butler stepped forward, placed the box in his hand on Luo Ning's table, and said politely. Master, this is the appointment letter that the master just wrote. He asked me to bring it to you. And he asked me to tell you that he hopes you will leave for Shanlin town within 2 days. Luo Ning's eyebrows twitched. The father and his predecessor really wanted him to leave as soon as possible. He opened the box and opened the appointment letter, which stated the appointment status. Hey, why doesn't my name have a surname? Luo Ning asked. He only saw the word Luo Ning in the name on the appointment letter. The surname Wushan was not written and was empty. The master said that you can have your own surname after you become independent. If you haven't thought about it, you don't have to fill it in. When you think about it, you can fill it in and inform him and register it. Luo Ning laughed in his heart. Good guy, this cheap dad actually took away his last name. It is true that nobles can change their surnames, but this usually happens when one family and 2 forces are equally matched, so that it is easy for the outside world to distinguish. However, even if they change their surnames, the 2 groups will still recognize each other as the same family for at least a few generations, and their bloodline will not change, nor will they deny it. Wiggins is doing this just to vent his unhappiness to Luo Ning. This guy is really irritable and willful. Luo Ning wasn't angry, since he had traveled through time and could have any surname. He would be more than happy to let him choose his own surname. He thought for a while, placed the appointment letter on the table, then picked up a pen and wrote his last name, Nu I. Chapter 4. A territory full of dangers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. A territory full of dangers. Luo Ning thought for a long time before picking up a pen and writing a new surname on the appointment letter, Firestorm. Fire and storm mean fierceness and vastness. The wind assists the fire, and the fire borrows the power of the wind to cause endless growth and destruction. Luo Ning uses this word as his surname, which not only means that he has gained a new life, but also hopes that his journey in the future will be as fierce and unstoppable as the firestorm. After all, they have become small lords of another world. Who doesn't want to become a big lord? Please tell my father, Butler, that I take Firestorm as my surname. I hope that the Wushan territory and my territory will be as prosperous as the wind-blowing flames. Hallwart nodded repeatedly. This is a good name. Don't worry, young master, I will convey your thoughts to the master. That he felt that the infamous eldest grandson of the Marquis in front of him was different from before. Perhaps he had grown a lot after experiencing the sudden changes in the past 2 days. A mature and stable family member is very important to the current Wushan caller. Even if this person is no longer named Wushan, his bloodline is still there, no matter where he goes. The symbol of black eyes and silver hair belonging to the Oyama family is always there. Luo Ning dried the writing on the appointment letter and put it back in the box. He glanced at the map spread out on the table and thought that the housekeeper in front of him might know more, so he asked. I am about to become the Baron of Hillwood Town, but I know nothing about it. Hallwater, do you know anything about Hillwood Town? As a housekeeper, Hallwart has much higher knowledge than ordinary domestic servants. In addition, by being around Wiggins all year round, he will also be exposed to some information. Master Luo Ning, I do know a little bit about Shanlin Town. He introduced. Shanlin Town is located in the north of Wushan territory. It is adjacent to the end of Wushan Warcraft mountain range to the west. It is surrounded by a large woodland and hills to the east and north. It is said that through them is the sea, and only the south can lead to it. The outside world, but there are rolling hills blocking the road and the traffic is not very good. Luo Ning frowned slightly. This place was really a remote area, and it seemed a bit dangerous. The monsters in the Wushan Mountains of Monsters won't attack Shanlin Town, right? He was a little worried. It's possible, young master. The butler said, I remember that over the years, my master had successively arranged for barons or pioneer knights to take care of Hillwood Town, but they seem to have died in the confrontation with the Warcraft that winter. Luo Ning's face turned pale. Damn it, isn't this a dangerous place? No wonder Wiggins said that those who had done meritorious service did not have much objection to the title of Baron of Hillwood Town. This is a dangerous place with inconvenient transportation and probably not much oil and water. No one wants to be a fiefdom, right? Hallwart saw Luo Ning's expression changing, knowing that his introduction had frightened him, so he quickly comforted him. Actually, master, don't worry. Monsters are used to going down the mountain to look for food when it snows in winter and food is hard to find. Then you just need to live in the castle and go out less and you'll be fine. Luo Ning showed a very bitter smile. Thank you for your suggestion, I think it is very useful. Thank you for your affirmation. Hallwart continued to introduce. In fact, not only Warcraft, there are also some savage tribes in the mountains north of Shanlin Town that pose certain threats. More than 20 years ago, the Marquis sent people to encircle and suppress these savage tribes. Although we lost some guards and knights, we have already defeated those guys. What? Luo Ning was shocked. There is also a savage tribe. Forget about the Warcraft, what is this savage, a humanoid creature covered in long hair? After Hallwater's introduction, Luo Ning had a certain understanding of the savage tribe in the woodland north of Shanlin Town. The savage tribe is not savages, but the defeated soldiers who were chased by the Marquis and fled into the mountains more than 20 years ago. In the end, the Qing suppression troops went in and out of the mountains and forests many times, but failed to kill the opponents. Diamond Suit, later, due to the remote location of Shanlin Town, insufficient supplies and other problems, it was shelved and was not completely cleared. As time went by, those defeated soldiers absorbed some thieves, bandits, and other people who fled into the mountains, and gradually formed the current savage tribe. It sounds scary, but the actual combat effectiveness is not very high. Otherwise the mountain forest town without a lord would have been annexed by the savage tribe, but Luo Ning was still very worried. He had to make some preparations to ensure his safety. Mr. Butler, has the Earl arranged any guards or elite family soldiers for me? Theoretically speaking, for children who leave home to start a business, their families will provide some resource support. It's just Wiggins, I can't say for sure. Well. Hallwart hesitated for a moment, then shook his head. I'm sorry, master, but I didn't arrange any guards or elite soldiers. Sure enough, his predecessor's father didn't give Luo Ning any surprises. What about money? Food? Horses? Hallwart still shook his head. It was obvious that Wiggins had no resources to support him. Okay, I get it. Luo Ning looked very decadent and sat down on the chair. If you want to be prepared, you must get material or financial support from others, especially money. With it, Luo Ning can go out and buy it. He had to find a way to get some money. It looks like I can only ask for it shamelessly. After making this decision, Luo Ning was ready to start acting. He learned from his memory that Wiggins was very loving to his predecessor's mother, Fatima. If he had not died unexpectedly, he would not have had a stepmother named Diane Hyde. It seems that the Earl doesn't regard me as his son at all. Has he forgotten the promise he made to my mother? Luo Ning looked sad. He once promised my mother that he would protect the safety of me and my sister with his own life. But now, I am about to go to a dangerous place like Shanlin Town, but he doesn't even have a guard. You won't even give me a single gold coin. He clearly wants me to die in Shanlin Town. Ronan looked directly into Hallwart's eyes, until the latter avoided his eyes and did not dare to look at him. Then he said in a tone that was one part crying, one part complaining, and one part angry. If something happens to me on the road or in my territory, I will definitely tell my mother in heaven that the man she loves so much turned out to be a cruel person who doesn't keep his promises. I feel so unworthy of my mother. Master, you, don't get excited yet. Hallwart was a little in a hurry. He just came to deliver a letter of appointment, and he didn't expect such a scene to happen suddenly. The Earl's son, the Baron of Shanlin Town, actually cried in front of him, "Nobleman, this is the first time that he has cried to one of his stewards." He quickly made up an excuse to appease him. Maybe the master was just too busy and forgot. I will remind him when I get back later. Luo Ning touched the corners of his eyes and made a gesture of wiping away tears. In fact, his eyes were dry. Thank you very much, Mr. Butler. Please convey my words to the Earl and ask him if he still remembers a woman named Fatima Sari. Okay. Hallwart quickly agreed, then politely and hurriedly exited the room. After seeing the butler leave, Luo Ning let out a long breath. In just half a day, he had already acted in 2 scenes in a row. He felt quite tired even though he was not an actor. Returning to the attribute panel, Luo Ning used the 1 attribute point he got from signing in today and added it to his level, mortal, 0 out of 10, 1/10. In an instant, Luo Ning felt that the fatigue in his body disappeared, and at the same time, he felt that his physical and mental energy had been strengthened to a certain extent. The extra points in the mortal stage should be the process of getting rid of the weak constitution of my previous body. He glanced at the other 4 interfaces with great satisfaction. Signing in is automatic and does not require any action from him. The 7-day login and achievement tasks are also completed automatically, but the rewards need to be collected manually. Now he can collect the first day's reward and get a subordinate, but now is not the time to collect rewards. The sudden appearance of a stranger in the Marquis' residence will inevitably arouse others' suspicion. Luo Ning didn't want this matter to be exposed. There's no rush, I'll collect it when I go out. The most important thing now is to make money. Where to get money from? Ronan tapped his fingers on the table. In the entire castle, there are only a few people who control the wealth: grandfather Marquis Rollans, father Earl Wiggins, stepmother Diane, and brother Breton. Wiggins has asked the housekeeper Hallwart to speak, and Diane may also be present, so between these 2 people, Luo Ning doesn't need to make any decisions. And his brother Brayden is not at home at the Chaozhou Academy in Wushan City at the moment, and only Rollans is left, having just been deprived of his inheritance rights and rewarded a baron as a favor. Is it appropriate for Luo Ning to ask Rollans for resources and support? Thin-skinned people might not want to go, but Luo Ning thought it didn't matter. He was a little thick-skinned. Luo Ning followed his memory and rushed outside the old Marquis' small single-family building. He could hear Rollans coughing inside, as well as the busy figures of several servants. Grandpa. Luo Ning called out and then walked into the room. New. Chapter 5 Seeking Funding. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 5 Seeking Funding. It's Luo Ning. In the room, Rollans leaned on the bedside. He heard Luo Ning's voice and was a little surprised why his grandson was so attentive today. Come to see me for anything? Hey. Luo Ning came to the bedside with a smile, pretending to be embarrassed. Grandpa, I just learned about the situation in Shanlin Town. It's still quite poor and dangerous there. It's not safe for me to go there alone. Ahem. Rollans coughed twice. He had thought that the child had grown up before, but he did not expect that the child was still afraid of difficulties. This made Rollans a little unhappy. So you are not going to go? No. Luo Ning was very determined. Since I want to atone for my sins and do something for the family, I won't back down just because of this little danger. Oh. Lu Lancey's expression softened slightly. Luo Ning chuckled, but Grandpa, there were a lot of things that were difficult to do when I was alone. He also pretended to be a daughter and shook Rollans' old hand, so I hope that the family can arrange some guards or elite soldiers for me, and then provide me with some gold coins to buy me some food and weapons and equipment. Grandpa doesn't want my eldest grandson to die before arriving in Shanlin Town. I want to come back to attend your birthday party this year. Ha ha ha. Lu Lancy laughed, first because Luo Ning was thinking about his birthday now, and secondly because of Luo Ning's growth. He didn't expect that this ignorant guy would take the initiative to think about the future and know how to ask for resources. He has determined that this child has really grown up. You also know that I have left family matters to your father for more than 10 years. Now the transfer and distribution of guards are arranged by him and his knights. You can only go to your father for this matter. I am afraid that I will help you. I have nothing to do for you. This kind of thing sounds like rejection. Wiggins is so afraid of Roland's, so whether he will give him resources or not is still a matter of Roland's words. Luo Ning had no choice but to make a pitiful gesture. After my mother died, my father has always hated me. Now if I ask him for resources, he will not only scold me, but maybe even beat me. At this point, it's time to play some emotional cards. He cried and cried, Grandpa taught me how to read, ride horses, and hunt, but now he is not even willing to support his grandson who is about to travel far away. If it really doesn't work, even if I borrow it from my family, I will pay it back bit by bit later. Shame, is it important? Of course that's important. But it also depends on the occasion, as the saying goes, children who cry are fed by milk, and Luo Ning will now play the role of a child who can cry. As for the dispute between the Wushan family and the Border Earl family caused by him, he simply didn't think about it and pretended that it was not him. Yes, those things were done by my predecessor. What does it have to do with him, Luo Ning? Whether the old Marquis was angry or displeased, he just wanted to shamelessly come over today and ask for a little bit. Fortunately, Lu Lancy, an old man who lived not long ago, was still very nostalgic. Especially when Luo Ning mentioned teaching literacy, teaching horse riding, and teaching hunting, he was deeply touched. He had to admit that he had invested a lot of emotion in Luo Ning. Now faced with the request of the grandson on whom he had placed endless hope, his heart softened again. Okay, I agree. Lulan said helplessly, then turned to look at the old butler who was waiting on the side. You go tell Wiggins and ask him to support Ronan with 100 gold coins in my name, and other supplies, such as food, guards, horses, etc. As a father, he must also express his gratitude, no matter what. Luo Ning is also his son, a child of my Wushan family. Okay, sir. The old butler bowed and left the room to inform. Luo Ning grinned, thank you Grandpa for your support, I will definitely run Shanlin Town very well. Then do your best. Lulan smiled and slowly lay down, if you have time, remember to go back to the castle more often. I will. Luo Ning knew that this was an eviction order. He stood up and helped Lu Lans pull a corner of the blanket to cover his chest, and then exited the room. This kid has really grown up. Lulans looked at Luo Ning's leaving figure and sighed, it's a pity that it's too late. It's a pity that he doesn't have the fighting spirit or magic. As a pioneer in the Marquis territory, Lulans naturally hopes that his family can become stronger and does not place any hope on outsiders. It's a pity that when he was alive, those former followers would not have any thoughts, and even if they had thoughts, they would not act. But when he dies, it won't be certain. Let Brayden succeed and bind the Hyde family to the Ozan family. This is the best choice. As for Luo Ning, whether he is granted the title of Baron or is now being given 100 gold coins as a financial aid, it is nothing to Roland's. He would be happy to see Luo Ning develop, but he would not be angry if Luo Ning still had no achievements. On the other side, Luo Ning walked out of the old Marquis house and looked at the peaceful garden in front of him, feeling refreshed. 100 gold coins, plus his own balance, totaled 128 gold coins, which was enough for him to purchase a lot of resources. At least he didn't have to worry about going hungry in a remote mountain town. Since Grandpa has given the order, even if my cheap father doesn't want to, he will support it more or less, right? Luo Ning thought for a while and gave up the plan of going out to the market. Firstly, it was getting dark, and secondly, he wanted to see what Wiggins would give him. If the initial supplies are sufficient, he does not need to go out to purchase. Not long after, in the luxurious living room, Wiggins' angry questioning made the crystal chandelier on the ceiling shake uneasily. What, let me give that guy resource support? Father, is he confused? This Luo Ning has brought huge losses to the family. It's fine if we don't expel him from the family. Now he still asks me to support him. The rugged man took a big sip of beer and shouted angrily, "No way, I can't waste another grain of food or another soldier on him." But Lord Marquis said that young Master Luo Ning is a bloodline of the Wushan family after all. How about you, Lord Earl, give me a little support? The old butler most stood by and was very embarrassed. On one side was the Marquis order, and on the other side was the Earl who had always had a bad temper. He did not dare to talk nonsense or talk too much. Just do what father said. At this time, the beautiful young woman sitting on the sofa nearby spoke, "Diane Hyde, this woman who is over 40 years old is still beautiful. Her long curly golden hair is casually draped on the sofa, making her reclining figure even more attractive. Father is right. No matter where Luo Ning goes, he will still be the bloodline and eldest grandson of our Wushan family. If something happens to him before he arrives in Shanlin town, it will not be the same for both the Wushan family and the Hyde family. A good thing. He killed your niece." Wiggins looked at his wife displeased and said, "Thank you for speaking for him." Hallward stood aside and wiped his sweat. He had just been waiting for the master and his wife to separate before telling Wiggins what Ronan said. After all, he was referring to his ex-wife. "Now it seems that I can't wait any longer." Hallward considered it for a moment, then bowed and said cautiously, "Master, when I went to Master Luo Ning just now, he also wanted me to tell you." "Tell me what?" Wiggins said in a cold voice. Why didn't he realize that his son talked so much before? He said, "Please give him a little support for the sake of his mother, Fatima Sari." Hallward automatically omitted some words, and it was indeed inappropriate to say them, but just this sentence made Wiggins stunned for a moment, and a beautiful face could not help but appear in his mind. That was his Bai Yueguang, his first real lover. Humph, he will only move out of his mother. Diane didn't seem to care at all about the mention of her husband's ex-wife. She smiled gently. "Yes, I heard that you made a vow to take care of Luo Ning with all your strength. Then we have to see what kind of guy Luo Ning is." Wiggins took another sip of wine and said to Hallward, "Just do what father said and give Ronan some support." He paused and then said, "You don't need to give too much. You prepare it first, and I will confirm it later." "Yes, sir." Hallward responded with a smile. New book bar. Chapter 66 Hidden Crisis. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 6 Hidden Crisis. Is this what my father gave me? By the light of the torch, Luo Ning looked at the several carriages parked in the manor's castle with a somewhat disappointed tone. Diamond suit. In front of him, there was a war horse, plus 6 carriages containing grain and 10 servants standing beside the carriages, 7 horses, 6 carts, and 10 servants. Hallward stood aside and introduced, "Master, this is a high-quality war horse. The price on the market can reach 100 gold coins. Although these 6 horses are not war horses, they are also of high quality. Each of them costs at least 20 gold coins. 10 gold coins. The carriage contains 2,000 kilograms of barley, 500 kilograms of wheat, 500 kilograms of flour, 200 kilograms of dried meat, 50 kilograms of coarse salt and 10 kilograms of fine salt. This food is enough for you, these 9 elite soldiers, and your male servants. It's been a year. In addition, there are also daily necessities such as pots, tableware, cups, etc. Although there are not many, they are enough for your daily use." Luo Ning chuckled. It was quite complete, but the portion was a bit small. The barley and wheat are not peeled. Although the total weight is 3,000 kilograms, how much can actually be eaten? Lord Count, are you going to let him eat and go hungry for a year? As for the 9 elite soldiers, Luo Ning glanced at the 9 men standing beside the carriage who only had a sword and no armor. Look at their lifeless looks. Are these the elite soldiers of Wushan Fort? What a liar. On the other hand, the manservant standing nearby made Luo Ning feel good and energetic. Oh, forget it, Luo Ning shook his head secretly. He was not qualified to be picky now. so he should just accept whatever he had. While comforting himself, he asked, "Besides these, is there anything else? Where is the 100 gold coins my grandfather gave me? He cares more about this. As long as he has money, he can buy what he needs. Barley on the market costs 3 copper coins per caddy, and he can only afford it if he buys 3,000 caddies. Here it is." Hallwart took out a black bag from his arms, and the sound of the money colliding was very pleasant to the ear. In addition to the 100 gold coins given by the Marquis, Lady Diane also gave 50 gold coins, saying that you will develop well there and remember to go home and take a look when you have time. Luo Ning's eyes lit up. Good guy, this stepmother and my predecessor is still okay, and she actually took the initiative to sponsor 50 gold coins. Why should she sponsor me? Luo Ning thought, isn't the other party worried that his rise will threaten her son's status? In fact, Luo Ning was overly worried about this. From Diane's perspective, it was questionable whether Luo Ning could survive in Hillwood Town, let alone rise or not. Moreover, where can an ordinary person rise? Therefore, in Diane's eyes, Luo Ning and her son were not on the same level, and there was no need for her to compete. On the contrary, she did so. In the eyes of Marquis Rolands, she was really thinking about the future generations of the Ozan family. "Thank you to Diane for me," Luo Ning said casually and took the wallet from Hallwart's hand. The heavy feeling was really good. Hallwart nodded and said, "In addition, Master asked me to tell you something." "Oh?" Luo Ning was a little surprised. He had asked Hallwater to bring a message to Wiggins, but he didn't expect that the other party would actually say something back to him. "What did the Count ask you to tell me?" It seemed that the embarrassment of this sentence made it difficult for Hallwart to say it, so he said in a low voice, "The Master said that after you get these things, you can leave Wushanpu early tomorrow morning." Luo Ning. When Hallwart sent him the appointment letter before, Wiggins told him to leave within 2 days. New. Now has the resources, and the other party directly asked him to leave tomorrow morning. It seems that taking out such things may have made Wiggins unhappy. Thinking of this, Luo Ning couldn't help but laugh. "Hallwater, thank my father for me." "Huh?" Hallwart was a little confused. "Thanks for his tolerance and allowing me to stay one more night in the castle." Hallwart smiled apologetically. He could hear a hint of sarcasm and provocation in this sentence, but he could understand Ronan, as a son, complaining about his father's attitude. Luo Ning put the money bag away and pointed at the manservant whom he was more satisfied with. This guy was much more energetic than the 9 elite soldiers. "May I have your name?" The male servant stepped forward and performed a standard servant's courtesy. "Your most loyal servant Chahar has met the master." "Hello, Chahar." Luo Ning nodded at the other party. "Follow Hallwart and ask him to help arrange accommodation for the night. Also, be prepared. We will set off after breakfast tomorrow morning." "As you wish, my lord." Chahar bowed in response and turned around to make arrangements. Although Hillwood Town is not a good place, Chahar's dream is to become a steward of a great noble like Hallwater, so when he heard that Hallwater was looking for a male servant to serve Ronan, he took the initiative to sign up. He knew that although going to Shanlin Town was dangerous, it was also an opportunity. Being a servant in Wushan Castle might lead a more stable life, but it would be too difficult to realize your dream. "I hope Lord Baron can stand firm in Shanlin Town." Chahar prayed in his heart that only when his master was safe would he have the possibility to realize his ideal. Ronan asked Hallwater to arrange accommodation for these guards and male servants, and then returned to his room with the money bag. Now his deposits have reached 173 gold, 54 silver, and 18 copper, totaling more than 178 gold coins, coupled with invisible assets such as war horses, and carriages. Luo Ning's current worth may be more than that of some barons who are about to go bankrupt. To be able to obtain these resources even though he was rejected by his father and deprived of his inheritance rights, to be honest, it was far beyond his expectations. "I'm leaving tomorrow, and I have to take everything I need to take with me." Luo Ning looked around the room. There were a lot of clothes and books stored here. These things belonged to him and could not be left behind. "Well, forget about the table, it's bad luck if it's too big, and there's no shortage of wood in the mountains, so I won't be able to build a few of them myself. Oh, by the way, there is also a blanket, which comes in handy on the road. Luo Ning became busy. It was already dark, and except for the guards on duty and the slaves who had not finished their work, most of the people in Wushan Castle who could rest had basically rested. In a long room, the 9 guards who were selected to follow Luo Ning to Shanlin Town couldn't sleep. Unlike Chahar, they did not go to Shanlin Town voluntarily, but were forcibly arranged. They were attached to Wushanbao and had no right to object. "Oh, I feel so weak when I think about leaving Wushan City in 2 days, there was a guard lying on his side on the hay, his tone full of worry. "I've heard that the mountain town is a dangerous place. I don't know how many people are eaten by monsters every year, and in that deep mountain forest, you can't even guarantee a meal a day. If you go there, you're waiting to die. Yeah, I don't know what the adults think. Lord Luo Ning is going to be the lord of Shanlin Town. Why should he arrange a professional night and let a few of us ordinary people escort him? It's not that he doesn't even care about Lord Luo Ning's safety. Do you value it? Don't you know that Luo Ning has been deprived of his inheritance rights, which is equivalent to being given up by the Earl? Do you think the Earl will arrange for knights to protect such a person? Is there such a thing?" In the longhouse, the 9 guards chatted with each other. The more they chatted, the more desperate they became. The more they chatted, the more they felt that they were also abandoned people and that they would die in Shanlin Town. Perhaps because they were immersed in this desperate atmosphere, 2 timid people began to sob softly. They did not want to die. Finally, a big man suddenly lowered his voice and said, "Since no one wants to go to Shanlin Town, I think we should leave Na Luo Ning halfway and run away alone. It is a mortal sin for a servant to abandon his master." When the man finished speaking, the long room fell into a deathly silence. After a long while, someone finally asked timidly, "In this case, won't we be hunted down?" Don't forget, that guy Hallwater just gave Luo Ning more than 100 gold coins. With this money, where can we go? At the mention of this, everyone's eyes seemed to light up. That's a full 150 gold coins. These people couldn't earn so much money even if they worked as guards for 100 years together. We want to steal Master Luo Ning's money. He is a noble. What are you afraid of? There are many remote and uninhabited places on the way to Shanlin Town. If we do something there, who would know that we did it? As for the rest of our lives, when we have so many gold coins, where can we not live?" That person was encouraging. In fact, this idea had been swirling in his mind for a long time. What was missing was help. Now he only needs to persuade these guards. As ordinary people, Luo Ning and Chahar have no power to resist when they do it. When the time comes, you will have money, horses, and supplies, and it will be good to be a thief. Anyway, there are more and more thief groups in Wushan. Under his instigation, the greed in other people's hearts became more and more turbulent, and the longhouse smelled of betrayal. New. Chapter 7 Extra Points Breakthrough. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Extra Points for Breakthrough. Luo Ning was lying on the bed at the moment, recalling the time he spent playing games on Earth. He remembered that when playing a card game, he would often log in at 12 o'clock every night in order to receive refreshed monthly cards, daily benefits, etc. He didn't expect that in a different world, he would be holding up his fighting eyelids again, waiting for the arrival of 12 o'clock in the morning. The room was silent, the flickering light of white candles illuminating the dark environment. "It's 12 o'clock. Luo Ning looked at the changes on the sign-in panel and showed joy. Attribute point +1. Once the time is up, he will sign in automatically, and Luo Ning's attribute points will increase by 1 point. At the same time, the rewards on the second day of 7-day login have also become available for claim. The name of this reward was Classic Gift Pack, not that kind of character card. So Luo Ning chose to receive it without hesitation. Suddenly, a red gold-rimmed package appeared in Luo Ning's sight, and then opened, bursting out with a burst of intense light. Attribute points +30. Energy essence +60. Luo Ning looked at his attribute panel. Level, mortal, 1/10, plus. Attribute points, 31. Energy essence, 60. Can it be upgraded? Luo Ning looked at the level column, feeling a little excited and anxious. What would happen? Add a bit. With a thought in mind, I entered. In an instant, Luo Ning felt that his body and spirit had been greatly improved. Even though it was 12 o'clock in the evening, he was still so alive that he couldn't sleep. Bang bang, bang bang, he could clearly hear the beating of his heart. It was so healthy and powerful. Now, he has completely gotten rid of his previous weak constitution and ushered in a new life. At the same time, the properties panel has also changed. Level, 1 Junior Knight, 0 out of 100, plus, 1 Junior Magician, 0 out of 150, plus. Attribute points, 22. I actually became a double extraordinary professional at the same time. For humans, there are two kinds of extraordinary power, one is fighting spirit and the other is magic power, corresponding to knights and magicians. After Luo Ning made some breakthroughs, he mastered these two extraordinary powers at the same time. He closed his eyes and carefully felt the position of his heart. He could vaguely feel a seed beating and germinating. This is the legendary fighting spirit seed. As the knight's physical fitness increases, the fighting spirit seeds will become stronger and stronger, and eventually the fighting spirit inside will burst out. This is the sign of becoming an intermediate knight. As for the magician, it's much simpler. Luo Ning could feel that there was a wonderful space in his brain. Magicians could absorb external elements through meditation and enter this space to refine them into mana. The speed of refining depends on the magician's affinity for each type of element. Luo Ning has super affinity with both wind and fire elements, so his refining speed is naturally very fast. Wow! But when he first arrived in another world, Luo Ning mastered the magical power and was extremely excited. The rewards for logging in these 7 days are not bad either. He chuckled, completely forgetting how he felt when he scolded the dog for planning. He looked at the remaining 22 attribute points and started thinking, at this stage, physical fitness is very important to him, so it would be better to add some knights first. So, he added all the remaining attribute points to the knight level. As his body strengthened again, Luo Ning felt that his strength was stronger than ever before. He could throw a punch casually, which probably took more than 20 years of effort. He could also feel that the grudge seed in his heart had grown a bit stronger. Okay, good. Now he also understands the 5 interfaces of his golden finger: monthly sign-in, 7-day login, first deposit bonus, achievement tasks, and attribute panel. The monthly check-ins and achievement tasks are endless. The 7-day login and first deposit bonus are the same as the idea when designing the system, stimulating players in a short period of time and bringing about retention and payment. The property panel is the consumption port and the functional part. The rewards for monthly sign-in can be increased by increasing the title level, so becoming a Viscount will be my goal in the next stage. Moreover, becoming a Viscount can also complete achievements and obtain attribute point rewards. Having mastered extraordinary power, Luo Ning naturally wanted to reach a higher level. It is said that he is so powerful that he can even live up to 200 years old. Luo Ning naturally yearns for such a powerful match. Thinking of this, he began to regret it again. If I had known that the sign-in reward is linked to the title level, I should have prayed to Grandpa to give me a Viscount when I was in Wushan Fortress. This is actually just talk. Generally speaking, only heirs who reach adulthood are knighted. Take Breton, who received the right of inheritance, for example. After he came of age and before Wiggins died, he could only receive the title of Viscount from his father. It was impossible for Luo Ning, who had lost his inheritance rights, to get a Viscount from Wiggins. Being a baron was already a top priority. In this era, titles are based on military merit. It can be said that those who are powerful may not necessarily have a title, but those who have a title must be powerful, except those who inherit the title from the previous generation. What is missing in the middle is military exploits. Follow the great nobles to fight in all directions and make great contributions. When the merits are accumulated and recognized by the great nobles, you may obtain a title. If you want to achieve military success, personal strength is the key, but the strength of the team is also indispensable. Luo Ning thought to himself. It seemed that he had to manage the territory well and cultivate a force of his own. As long as there is an army that is good at fighting, success in battle will be just around the corner. Everything. Let's wait until I arrive in Shanlin town before making detailed plans. With excitement and plans for the future, Luo Ning gradually fell into sleep. In his dream, he saw himself riding on a war horse, waving his flaming sword gently, and his thousands of troops charging to kill with a roar. The scene was so spectacular. But he never expected that the 9 guards assigned to him by Wiggins would already be interested in him. The night passed quietly. When Luo Ning woke up, it was already slightly dark. He pushed the door open, and the sound made Chahar, who was sitting on the stool outside the door, jumped up and stood up instantly. "Good morning, sir, I'll help you wash up." Chahar enthusiastically prepared toiletries for Luo Ning. "Why are you here?" "Didn't I ask Hallwater to arrange a place for you?" Chahar bent slightly and replied respectfully, "Sir, you have too few servants around you. I was afraid that you might not be able to find anyone if you had something to do at night, so I stayed here to wait." Luo Ning was a little impressed. He was really a dedicated and good employee. "Thanks for your hard work." "This is my duty, sir." Chahar responded respectfully. While washing and having breakfast, Luo Ning also got to know Chahar to a certain extent. The father of this valet was a professional knight. Although he died in battle many years ago, his status as a professional knight gave Chahar the opportunity to study at the Extraordinary Academy. After his father's death, Chahar, who had lost his support, relied on his knowledge of some words and his skills in aristocratic etiquette to successfully enter the castle and become a servant of Wushan Castle. Luo Ning is quite satisfied with this manservant. When he arrives in Shanlin town, Chahar may become his good assistant. "I recognize your ability." Luo Ning ate a piece of bread with milk. The fresh milk tasted just fine, but he wasn't used to eating bread. He rarely ate bread when he was on Earth. "From now on, just follow me and work hard. When Shanlin town develops in the future, I can guarantee that you will never be worse than Hallwater." He stood up, patted Chahar on the shoulder, and made a cake for him. Chahar's eyes were bright with encouragement and recognition. He suddenly felt that Baron Luo Ning was not as useless as the outside world said. Maybe it would be a good choice for him to take the initiative to apply to Shanlin town this time. "It is my honor to serve you, Lord Baron." New. Chapter 88 Betrayal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Betrayal. Outside the castle, everything for Luo Ning's trip was ready. In addition to food, the 6 carts were also loaded with books, bedding, etc. The weight was distributed just right so that one horse would not be overweight. If it weren't for the limited carrying capacity of the carriage, Luo Ning would have wanted to pack up all the murals in the room and take them away. After all, they are from Wushan, and they must be worth some money if sold, right? "Lord Baron, Lord Marquis asked you to come back and see me when you have time." Roland's servant and the old butler of the castle, was coming to say goodbye on behalf of the old Marquis. Standing next to him was Hallwater, but the latter represented not Wiggins, but Diane. "I will." Luo Ning raised his head and glanced at the glorious castle. He wondered what the state would be like when he came back. After waving to the 2 housekeepers, he asked Chahar to drive the carriage, and began the journey to Shanlin town under the escort of 9 guards. Ozan Castle is not built in Ozan Castle, but is located on the southwest hillside. The castle and Ozan Castle are connected by Ozan Avenue. There are some estates, somewhat similar to villages, along both sides of the avenue. Some of these estates belong directly to the castle and are left to servants to take care of, while some are awarded to canonized knights, the lowest nobles, who have made meritorious deeds. Walking 5 or 6 miles northeast along Wushan Avenue is Wushan City. This is a large city with a population of close to 100,000. If the citizens in the surrounding manors are included, the population of Wushan City will definitely exceed 100,000, because the places where his predecessor visited rarely involved cities. Luo Ning wanted to see a city in another world with his own eyes, but as we got closer and closer to Wushan City, the stench in the air became stronger. What's going on? Is there a pig farm nearby? Luo Ning subconsciously thought. Soon, he was stunned by the sight in front of him. The end of Wushan Avenue is connected to a wide but winding long street. Houses of different styles are scattered on both sides of the street. They are basically one-story buildings, and there are very few two-story buildings. Diamond suit that if you only look at these, it's just a bit backward and shabby, but what makes Luo Ning the most intolerable is the hygiene. All kinds of feces can be seen everywhere on this dirt road, including thin, hard, yellow, black, small lumps, and large piles. Luo Ning was lucky enough to see an old horse stepping over the dung pile, and it was immediately flattened, making it cling to the soil. Such a scene directly aroused Luo Ning's visual nerves. Is this a place for people? Although some of the houses in Wushan Castle are relatively damp and dilapidated, the hygiene is pretty good, at least there is no feces everywhere, but here, it's really hard to describe. The reason why the castle was built 5 or 6 miles away from the city is to avoid the stench, right? Luo Ning pinched his nose and looked away. Chahar, why is this place so dirty? Does the castle not care? Chahar, who was driving, felt a little strange when faced with such a question. Sir, why does the castle have to take care of the health here? Chahar's wise rhetorical question made Luo Ning not know how to answer for a moment. Yes, why does the castle care about the hygiene here? Can any benefits be gained? Nobles only care about their own lives, and lords only care about their own taxes. Commoners or serfs are just tools of the nobles. As long as they don't die, they don't care whether they live well or poorly, and whether the sanitary environment is dirty or clean. Just like pig farmers, they don't care whether there is anything wrong with pigs living in pig manure. For a moment, he felt uncomfortable. Big cities like Wushan City are like this, so what will the scene be like in his small mountain town? Luo Ning couldn't even think about it. Hurry up and leave Wushan City, I can't stand this smell at all. As you wish, sir. Chahar waved his whip and the carriage started running faster. From Luo Ning's perspective on Earth, what kind of big city is a city with a population of more than 100,000? It doesn't even have the population of a county. However, the area of Wushan City is not small, and it took more than 3 hours of stop and go for the convoy to completely leave the boundaries of Wushan City. The farther away from the city, the more uneven the road becomes. Luo Ning raised the car window and found that there were dense forests on both sides of the road, unlike before where he could still see manors and fields. Now they have arrived on the mountain road in the wilderness. Considering that the horses had been walking for more than an hour, Luo Ning ordered, Chahar, stop and rest. The horses are tired, and we have to prepare lunch. Okay, sir. Chahar shouted and conveyed Luo Ning's instructions. 6 carriages before and after also stopped one after another. Luo Ning walked out of the carriage and breathed in the fresh air outside. It was much more comfortable than when he was in Wushan City. He looked at the mountains in the distance and ordered, let 6 guards go to the mountains to get some fodder to feed the horses. The remaining people prepare lunch. After everyone is full, we can go on the road. Okay, sir. Chahar walked towards the carriage loaded with groceries, preparing to take down the only iron pot to make some broth. After explaining, Luo Ning stepped into the forest. He was going to take this opportunity to claim the reward for the first day of 7-day login. In this way, he will have one more night among his subordinates, and the safety of the team will be more guaranteed. But before he could take 2 steps out, Chahar's exclamation came from behind him. What do you want to do? Then the sound of the iron pot falling to the ground was heard. What happened? Luo Ning turned around in surprise, only to see Chahar fall to the ground, the iron pot falling aside, and the guards who should have been busy drew their swords and walked towards him. Is this a rebellion? Luo Ning was someone who had seen big scenes in TV dramas, and he immediately realized what these guys wanted to do. However, he still subconsciously asked, what do you want to do? What? The leading man had a joking look on his face, showing no respect for his master. Sir, Shanlin town is too remote and barren. We don't want to go there with you, so we want to ask you to borrow some money to leave. You are betraying. Chahar understood and became even more angry. Not only have you betrayed the Baron, you are also betraying the Wushan family. Aren't you afraid of death? Not only him, but even Luo Ning did not expect that these 9 elite soldiers would betray him. In this world, being able to serve the nobles in the castle is something that many people only dream of. Betrayal of nobles usually only happens to people with strength or status. What do these people have? Luo Ning narrowed his eyes. You want to kill me? These words shocked Chahar so much that he forgot to accuse him, killing nobles. They actually want to kill the nobles. How can this be? How dare they? Hey, everyone said that the Baron is a stupid donkey. Now it seems that you are not that stupid. The leading guard showed a cruel smile. If you want to blame, I can only blame your father for looking down on you and giving you so much money, but he didn't choose a loyal professional knight to protect you. After hearing this, Luo Ning actually laughed. That puts me at ease. Luo Ning was naturally relieved. When he just saw the guard trying to kill him, he subconsciously felt that this was Wigan's arrangement. It was a very scary thing for a count to be determined to kill him. However, judging from what this group of people said, the other party was just motivated by money and was not ordered by Wiggins. The bloody plot of a father bent on killing his son did not appear. That's why he said he was relieved, but this sentence made the betrayers confused. In their opinion, Luo Ning was about to die, so why should they rest assured? I think you were so frightened that you were talking nonsense, right? That the backstabber raised the sword in his hand. Brothers, kill him, and the supplies and gold coins on the carriage will be ours. That with a sound of encouragement, the guards, whether they were hesitant or timid, strengthened their betrayal hearts. They roared and charged towards Luo Ning. Sir, be careful. Chahar didn't know where he got the courage. He pulled out the dagger he was carrying and wanted to rush forward to help. However, he fell to the ground before he could take 2 steps. He tried to stand up, but his legs refused to control him. He was too nervous. Luo Ning was also very nervous. He had never seen such a scene in his whole life, but as a dual professional transcendent, he would not lose his ability to move due to too much adrenaline secretion. He sneered, turned around and ran towards the forest so fast that none of the 9 guards could react. Why is he running so fast? That the guards were puzzled. Didn't it mean that the Marquis' eldest grandson had been drained of wine and sex and was very weak? The speed that just broke out was far beyond their reach. At this moment, he felt something was wrong, but now that the cards have been shown, there is no way back. Luo Ning must die today. Kill Luo Ning. The betrayer gathered enough strength and rushed into the forest with a roar. A burst of light suddenly erupted from the mountain, and a steady, loud voice sounded. McSalatin greets you, my lord. New. Chapter 99 Counterattack. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 9 Counterattack. Within a few breaths, Luo Ning took the lead into the forest on the roadside. Taking advantage of the trees and hills blocking his view, he immediately called up the 7-day login interface and claimed the first day's reward. Immediately, countless light pillars rose on the ground in front of him. This scene was as intoxicating as the Tyndall effect caused by the light. These light pillars outline a complex, obscure and mysterious summoning circle on the ground, exuding a faint power. A strong wind swept across, and a figure slowly emerged from the light pillar. This man was as majestic as a mountain, with a broad chest and powerful arms beneath his simple leather armor. His expression was resolute and calm, and his expression would not change even in a storm. McSalatin greets you, my lord. That with a loud voice and a respectful attitude, the man summoned through the magic circle slapped his left chest heavily with his right hand and performed the standard knight salute to Luo Ning. It's nice to meet you, Mikon, but we're not in a good situation right now. As soon as Luo Ning finished speaking, the group of backstabbing guards had already caught up with him. They looked at the strange blonde man in front of them in shock, wondering why a person appeared in the forest in less than 10 seconds. Who are you? The leader of the backstabbers looked at McCann warily, and the uneasiness in his heart grew stronger. McCann had sensed the intentions of this group of people. He flipped his left hand, took up his shield, and at the same time pulled out the long sword from his waist. Anyone who wants to do harm to the master must step over my body first. Standing one step behind McCann, Luo Ning stared at him. He found a small attribute panel appearing next to him. The content was extremely simple. Macon Sally Tun, Junior Knight, Earth, 0/100, plus. Obviously, Luo Ning can add points to McCann, and all he consumes is energy essence. In order to ensure that there would be no accidents in this battle, he consumed all the energy essence without much thought. Macon Sally Tun, Junior Knight, 0 out of 100, 60 out of 100. McCann was stunned for a moment. He felt that his strength had been greatly enhanced in an instant, and the fighting spirit seeds in his heart seemed to come alive, beating very powerfully. He couldn't help but look back at Luo Ning. He was sure that such an improvement was definitely the work of his master. The moment he turned back, the traitors seized the opportunity. Kill! Ronan drew his sword and shouted, McCann, deal with these traitors. As you command, Master. McCann took a step forward, and with the huge explosive force, the soil on the ground was splashed away. His figure was incredibly fast. These traitorous guards are all ordinary people. They can only catch thieves and beat ordinary people. How have they ever fought against professional knights? And McCann is not only a knight, but also a knight who is born with fighting instincts. In front of him, these betrayers are like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Puff, the long sword penetrated the chest of the fastest backstabber, killing one person instantly. While drawing his sword, McCann relied on his nimble footwork to dodge the incoming sword edge. The moment he dodged, he kicked out, sending the two people rushing away. One round of charge defeated the betrayer's momentum. Before they could react, McCann had already drawn his sword, sprinted, swept, and slit the throats of the two betrayers. The smell of blood spreads through the forest with the wind. Luo Ning originally thought that he would go up to help, but he didn't expect that the McCann knights were so ferocious, killing 3 and kicking 2 down in an instant. The death of the 3 betrayers caused the remaining people to break through the defense directly, and the fear of betraying the nobles and knights once again occupied their minds. All thoughts of escape and resistance were forgotten by them at this time. All they could think of was throwing away their swords and then kneeling on the ground like a dog wagging its tail to Luo Ning and begging for mercy. "Sir, please spare my life. Sir, please spare my life." That the courage to betray him just now was gone in an instant. Haha. Luo Ning sneered and ignored the betrayers, but gave McCann a thumbs up. "Knight McCann, your abilities really opened my eyes." The betrayers' faces turned pale when they heard this. Sure enough, this cruel man was indeed a knight. They suddenly felt that they were ridiculous for naively thinking that the Baron had no knights to protect him. "All this is a gift from you, Master." McCann stood aside and did not continue killing. "Master, how are you, Master?" The manservant Chahar stumbled into the woods, but he did not expect such a scene. "Chahar, I have seen your loyalty. You have performed well." Although Chahar did not help much, in the desperate situation just now, the servant did not betray him and even wanted to rush forward to help. Just for this loyalty, Luo Ning must give the other party a thumbs up. He held the long sword and walked slowly to the leading betrayer. Seeing the other person kneeling on the ground begging for his life, his eyes were full of coldness. "You instigated and planned this betrayal, right?" Luo Ning frowned and said in a cold voice, "What gave you the courage to betray?" The man didn't dare to raise his head, and his body trembled with fear. "Sir, I didn't expect that there was a knight beside you." "Oh." Luo Ning said in a joking voice, "If you knew there was a knight, you wouldn't betray me, would you?" "Sir, spare my life. I don't dare anymore. Actually, there is one thing you may not know yet." Luo Ning's voice could not tell whether he was happy or angry. "What?" The kneeling betrayer couldn't help but raise his head. From his point of view, Luo Ning was taller than ever before, so tall that it suffocated him. "Actually, I am also a knight. Even without McCann, you are still no match for me." The sharp sword penetrated the opponent's chest from top to bottom, making the betrayer's eyes widen. He may not have thought that he would die. Luo Ning is still a little hesitant about killing people. On the one hand, he has never killed anyone before, and this is even more true for him who came from time travel, but in another world, as a lord, sometimes you have to make a choice. If he had nothing, he would be the one who died today, and the enemy would not be merciful. Seeing the other party lying lifeless in a pool of blood, Luo Ning's mood fluctuated violently. After all, this was the first time, but soon, there was more joy in the anxiety and uneasiness. Just because there was a line of text beating in the line of sight. King of Slaughter achievement achieved, attribute points +10, energy essence +20. The content of the achievement King of Slaughter is to let him kill any unit. The traitor is an ordinary person, so naturally he is included in this. He glanced at the achievement panel. At this time, the achievement of King of Slaughter had been updated. King of Killing, kill any first-level extraordinary unit, reward, attribute points +30, energy essence +60. The achievements are indeed advanced, just like when I designed the game system. First-level extraordinary units refer to junior knights, junior magicians, and first-level monsters. It is still a bit difficult for Luo Ning to complete this achievement, although he also has the level of a first-level transcendent, he has no actual combat experience. The words he just said to the betrayer, he can fight back without McCann, were actually bragging. If he really did it, he would be seriously injured even if he didn't die. He couldn't scare the enemy instantly like McCann did. When he has time, he needs to hone his fighting skills. Now that he has McCann, he actually has a teacher. Master, you don't need to take action on the remaining people, let me take care of them. McCann volunteered. Luo Ning raised his eyebrows and looked at the remaining 5 elite soldiers who were kneeling on the ground and shivering. Chapter 10 Urgent Problems. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 10 Urgent Problems. Although some of the remaining 5 guards were blind followers, the seeds of betrayal had been planted and sprouted once. Diamond Suit, although Luo Ning cut him off in time this time, who can guarantee that there won't be a second time? So for betrayers, try not to use it if you can, but just kill him. Luo Ning frowned slightly. After killing these 5 people, who would drive the car? You can't expect Chahar to drive 5 carriages by himself. The other party doesn't have the ability to clone himself, so he can't do it. Luo Ning thought for a while before speaking. Since you have realized your mistake, as a benevolent lord, I can let you go once. This sentence was like a barrel of wine that made the guards intoxicated. Their pleas turned into excited gratitude and vows never to betray. For this kind of oath, Luo Ning just listens. Now I order you to pick up your swords and get enough fodder for the horses. Yes, sir, let's go now. That the guards kneeling on the ground hurriedly picked up their weapons and started mowing the grass while talking. Now they were afraid that they would make the master angry if they did it slower. Luo Ning looked away from this group of people. With the knight McCann, they did not dare to escape even if no one was watching. This group of people no longer had the courage to gamble on whether they could escape from the professional knights. Master, are you going to let them go like this? Chahar was indignant on the sidelines. As a guard of the Wushan family, he dared to assassinate his master. He couldn't even think about it. What he couldn't understand even more was that the Baron let them go. Kill them all. Can you drive 5 carriages by yourself? Luo Ning asked with a smile. Well. Chahar was stunned. He scratched his head and tried his best to think of ways. Maybe we can use ropes to tie the carriage front and back. After saying this, he shrugged his head and said, but we don't have such a long rope. Then let's keep their lives for now. Luo Ning said, Chahar, go and pack up the weapons and belongings of the dead people. Don't waste them. The guards used low-quality iron swords. Although they were not of good quality and could not be sold for much, they were still iron swords and it would be a pity to lose them. Okay, sir. Chahar endured the discomfort caused by the fainting of blood, put away the iron sword, and searched the body. The Baron said not to waste it. These guards should have a few copper coins on them, right? McCann, come with me. Ronan said hello and led Knight McCann back to the road. 6 carriages and 1 horse were all gnawing grass on the roadside, and they were not lost. McCann, tell me your story. McCann, who followed 2 steps behind Luo Ning, seemed like a loyal guard. When he heard his master's question, he was a little confused. Master, what is the story you are talking about? Just like them, call me sir or master. The title master is only used in specific artistic conceptions and situations. Although it is understandable for McCann to call him this way, it is a bit abrupt. I want to hear about your experiences, etc., such as where your home is, your life experience, etc. Luo Ning explained, this way I will know you better. McCann was silent, obviously thinking about how to answer this question, but soon he shook his head. Sir, I only remember that you are my master, and I will always be loyal to you. As for where my hometown is, I have no relevant memories of my life experiences. Luo Ning was stunned for a moment, then nodded slowly. Oh, that's right, that he can feel the contractual relationship between himself and McCann. This contract should be the master-servant contract signed with Warcraft. The master and the slave cannot survive. Don't you have any memory? I feel like you have quite a lot of combat experience. I seem to have an indescribable intuition when fighting, McCann explained. Oh, by the way, it's not like I have no memory at all. At least I know daily text, communication, and combat movements. Luo Ning probably understood. The characters summoned from the 7-day login reward are real with flesh and blood, but they seem to be just born characters. Apart from their strength and some basic knowledge, the rest is like a blank sheet of paper. Welcome, Maken Sally Tun. Luo Ning's tone was very formal. From today on, you will be my escort officer, responsible for protecting my safety. At the same time, you are also my instructor and training partner, helping me improve my combat experience. McCann knelt on one knee and put his right hand on his left chest. I am willing to serve you, sir. Usually you don't have to be so generous. Ronan helped the opponent up and checked Knight McCann's sword, shield, and leather armor. These 3 items appeared together with the summons, and their quality was at least several grades higher than the inferior iron swords used by the guards. In this way, he didn't have to spend money to buy a set of equipment for McCann. According to his understanding of the price of goods in this world, each knight's sword for knights costs at least 5 gold coins, plus a shield and armor. A set costs almost 20 gold coins. Luo Ning only had less than 180 gold coins in his body, and he spent 1/9 of it at once, which was a big expense. He couldn't help but sigh when he thought that he still needed to save money to buy 6 magic crystals to get the first recharge reward. It's so expensive that I don't want to spend too much money on prescriptions. Now that he has become independent from Wushan, it is no longer feasible to rely on playing emotional cards to obtain financial and resource support from Rolands and the others. If you want to make money, you have to think of other ways. Grown-ups. McCann's voice brought Luo Ning back from his thoughts. Sir, I suddenly felt my strength increased during the previous battle. What on earth is going on? This question has been lingering in his mind for a long time, and he couldn't help but ask it. This is a secret between us, please remember to keep it secret. Luo Ning smiled mysteriously. I can improve your strength, just like now. As he spoke, he used the 20 points of energy essence he had just obtained from completing the King of Slaughter achievement on McCann's body, making the opponent's knight level progress from. With only 20 more points of energy essence, McCann can be promoted to an intermediate knight. Intermediate knights can express their fighting spirit, and their combat effectiveness is several levels higher than that of junior knights. At that time, Luo Ning's safety can be better guaranteed. Of course, only a high-level knight can take advantage of a territory. Only high-ranking knights can accumulate enough merits to be canonized as noble knights. Luo Ning estimated that it would take 8 or 9 days to walk from Wushan City to Shanlin Town. By the time he reached the territory, McCann was definitely at the mid-intermediate level. Sir, I have become stronger again. McCann felt the sudden increase in power, with a look of disbelief on his face. He became more and more sure that a master with such ability was definitely extraordinary. Get used to the power. That horse is yours now. Luo Ning pointed to the black horse that was not pulling the cart. This is a high-quality war horse, and it is also the best horse I have so far. I hope you can make good use of it and don't live up to my expectations. Knights all love war horses, and all knights love war horses. Think about Guan Yunchang, who was sealed with gold in the 3 kingdoms. He didn't ask for anything, but only accepted the red rabbit horse, which shows how much he loves good horses. McCann is no exception. He looked at the black horse with straight eyes. Thank you for the gift, sir. Luo Ning couldn't help but laugh as he watched the guard excitedly communicate with the horse. High-quality war horses cost hundreds of gold and were a great asset to Luo Ning, but he probably didn't have many opportunities to use them to charge. It would be a good choice to reward it to Guard Officer McCann, and to take a step back. McCann will not abandon him. If Luo Ning really wants to use the dark horse, he can do it any time. He looked away and began to think seriously about this betrayal. After coming to this world, Luo Ning thought that the servants here would not betray the nobles easily, but after experiencing this betrayal, he understood that it was the same no matter which world he was in. As long as there were enough benefits and possibilities, those ambitious people would take risks. Whether they are nobles, commoners, or serfs, they all have ambitions, but the probability of master eating is smaller for the latter too. Drawing inferences from one example, Luo Ning thought of Shanlin Town. Will the people there welcome him as their lord? No, to be more precise, would the local snakes there welcome him as a lord? You must know that no lord has been willing to go to Shanlin town for more than 10 years, and the family has only arranged a political officer to maintain the annual tax revenue. If this political officer has stayed there for a long time, will he regard Shanlin town as his own territory? This is still possible, although Luo Ning had not experienced it personally. He had heard of similar things when he was on Earth. For example, if a nanny works for a certain family for several years, she subconsciously regards herself as the master of the family and gives orders to her employer. Who can guarantee that this political officer is not such a nanny? Luo Ning made a bad plan. If the local snakes in Shanlin town did not welcome him, and the other party had lived in that remote area for many years, there would definitely be a team of people. Then he needs to consider how many men and horses the opponent has and what their fighting level is. It's not that he is afraid of any powerful knights over there, but any intermediate or high-level knight will not choose to be trapped in a mountain town without a lord, as there is no future there. Luo Ning was just worried that there were too many people on the other side. I still have too few people under my command. Even with the light magician as a reward on the 7th day of the 7-day login, Luo Ning only has 3 trustworthy people, McCann and Chahar. We must find a way to solve this problem. New